Jenny McCarthy Show.
Oh! Chrissy Metz, This Is Me is the name of her book. What a great title. Loving the Person You Are Today. Chrissy, welcome to my show. Welcome back.
Oh my gosh, thanks for having me.
Of course, you are. We were talking about you before you came in, saying you were just such a ray of sunshine when you came in here last time. And I can't say that for many fucking celebrities. You really are just a light.
That means a lot to me. Thank
you.
I
love that you wrote this amazing book. I'm going to read this, you guys, because you'll be hooked and on Amazon buying it immediately. It's called This Is Me. Her father disappeared one day, leaving her mom to work a series of menial jobs and his children to learn to live with the threat of hunger and the electricity being cut off. When her mom remarried, Chrissy hoped for normal, but instead experienced a form of mental pain that seemed crafted just for her. The boys who showed her attention did so with strings attached as well, and Chrissy accepted it because for her, love always came with conditions. When she set out for LA, it was the first time she'd been away from her family and from Florida, and for years, she got barely an audition. So, how does a woman with the deck stacked against her radiate such love, beauty, and joy? This too is at the heart of This Is Me. What a wonderful title. What a wonderful message that you're sending out to the world. What made you want to write this?
You know, I was approached about writing the book and I was like, I have nothing to say. What am I going to say? And then when I would meet people all the time and cry with strangers in bathrooms, which happens very often, and they're like, how did you find this success? And I went back and I thought about, oh my gosh, every single thing that happened in my life didn't happen to me, but for me. And I got to learn a valuable lessons in each of those. And how can I pay that forward? And so I was like, oh, maybe I do have something to say.
Right.
And then we just sort of, Kevin O'Leary, who was my ghostwriter and my therapist and now friend, he just listened to me and was just so solid and confident about me telling a truthful, honest story of me.
How long do you think it takes for a person, a human being, to be able to realize that those bad things in our lives happened for us?
You know, that's hard to say because I think it depends on where you're at mentally and emotionally. And for me, the more you resist, the more it persists. And I think I was just so broken down that I was like, wait a minute, I need to flip this on its head. Like, maybe this isn't a bad thing. Maybe these things are all lessons. And then when I started out this spiritual journey after, I turned 30 and had the panic attack and blah, 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 I was like, oh, wait, no, I've got this all wrong. Yep. So I think it just depends. Maybe I think when you're so down and out, you have nothing else to kind of give. You're like, just surrender. So I think it can come at any age. And for me, it was sort of like 30-ish.
I loved what you said, and I got what I wanted out of that question, which was that you didn't try. It's like you tried everything else. Why not try to flip it on its head?
Yeah.
And I think people forget to do that last step sometimes. Mm-hmm. And it's when you are able to kind of surrender in anything, even in a shitty situation that you are present in. Mm-hmm. It doesn't even have to be a past situation, but when you are in like, oh my God, my life is fucking hell. I don't want to be here. Yeah. I've managed to sometimes stop and go, you know what? Just be in it. Why am I fighting it?
Yes.
And all of a sudden, rainbows come out of my ass.
Uh-huh.
Butterflies come out of my nose. It's wonderful.
Yeah, it's true. When you just stop and you just surrender and the ego kind of quiets to the point of just, shuts off. You're like, oh, okay. Right? Okay, now we can keep it moving and in a really beautiful, open way.
Totally.
So.
The ego's a tricky little bastard.
Oh, God.
The greatest thing, and you can elaborate, I think, for me, is once you, wake up, you understand, your ego can still take over and you can fall asleep, but you know what it feels like to be woke even for a second.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Oh, my gosh. And you always get to check in with yourself and know your part in the situation. And, somebody cut me off the other day in traffic, and I was like, what? Chrissy, you're not mad at him. You're mad that you didn't wake up early enough. Whatever. I'm projecting all my crap on this person and nothing to do with anything.
Oh my God, I'm stimming over here.
Yeah.
I'm like, yes, that's exactly right.
Yeah.
You're projecting.
Yeah.
And that, I got to tell you, what you just said, it helped me understand haters in the world of fame. And whatever you want to call it, crusades and these things that I've taken on that have challenging medical, I realize people project how they're feeling inside.
Yeah.
And you almost have to just feel sorry for them.
Yeah. You have to come from a place of empathy because they just know not what they do. If they knew better, they would do better.
You are walking just meme, girl.
Girl, I'm just trying to live my best life. Just trying to figure it all out.
We're gonna sell some fucking books today.
Okay, I hope so.
This is me loving the person you are today. So in your book, you start off with a story about being personally invited to Oprah's house, which I'm so fucking jealous. I did work with her for 5 years at Harpo, so I got to be like with her, touch her big toe with my foot. Like I was like Oprah's bitch for a little bit, and then of course we grew apart, not in a bad way, but just to have that opportunity is amazing. Yeah. What happened when you went over to her house?
Well, I was like a child. I was like, what do I do? What do I say? I don't even know how to feel and think. I don't even know how to what. And then I was like, what would Oprah tell you, Chrissy? Oprah would be like, I'm just a person. Like, treat me as such. And so I really had to like just take it down a notch and just say, you know what, we're having a conversation. She's invited you to her home. What a beautiful experience. And we really got to get to know each other. And she said, tell me about you. I could Google it. I could, research it, but tell me about you, which was so lovely. I'm like, Oprah Winfrey wants to know about me? Okay. Yeah, it was really.
And she's a great listener, isn't she?
Yes. She really, really is. And I talk about in the book that not even 5 seconds from meeting her did I learn my first Oprah, in-person lesson from her, when I said, oh my goodness, your house is so beautiful. And she said, you know what, it is, thank you. And she owned that. She said, everything she said was, I worked really, really hard to get to this place in my life, and thank you. But like, it's okay to own how hard you've worked and to enjoy, what you've.
You're 100% right.
Yeah. So, I mean, of course, in less than a minute, I had a life lesson. So,
when people come up to me and say, oh my God, you look so pretty, I say, don't I? And they laugh. And I'm laughing too, because I'm saying it with a like in both ways of like trying to accept it, but also it's kind of funny.
Yeah.
But it's so out there that people aren't expecting someone to own it.
Yeah.
We're programmed to be like, no,
this old thing. Oh, right? I'm gonna all the time, and I mean
sometimes I'll say I look like a cadaver just to kind of play it down a little bit.
Right. Mix
but
it up.
Most of them I'll go, yeah, just to mix it, just to entertain myself.
That's right. Yeah, but it's important, because we allow people to sit in their power when we accept ours, or we just accept a compliment. But we're not taught that. It's not cultivated. It's like, you're not enough of this. You're too much of that. No, and if somebody wants to compliment you, receive that. It's just, 100%. It's hard. It's hard.
And it's a good message to start teaching our kids that too.
Yes.
My son now, whenever I'll say Evan, you did so great today. He'll go, thank you. Or you look handsome. I do, don't I? I'm like, you do.
Yes,
own it.
You do.
I want to talk about your family. You suffered so much in your childhood, and from your dad abandoning your family and the abuse from your stepdad. Have you been able to work on forgiveness?
Oh, that's the only reason I talked about it in the book, was because I know that it's not personal, and that my stepfather went through his own issues with his own family, and that whether he couldn't vocalize or be vulnerable enough with his emotions, or he acted out in a certain way, it had nothing to do with me. And of course, now as an adult, I'm like, oh, I mean, when you're a teenager, you're like, what? You feel misunderstood, and you feel ostracized, and you feel just less than. And I was like, oh, yeah, he didn't do it because of me. Because I knew I was a great kid. It was just he didn't know any better. And now, we have a relationship, and I have forgiven him. And he, when I first moved to LA, he wrote me a letter and he apologized. And it's really, really a beautiful situation, because most of us, and myself included, we don't do the forgiveness thing. We don't even want to go there. But I think that if we all understand that we all are coming from the same place, we all want love. When you funnel all the feelings down, there's fear involved, and all of, I mean, we could talk about that.
At the end of the day, we want love.
Yeah, we just want, that's all we want is love and acceptance. And if he couldn't love himself to love me, maybe I could forgive him and love myself enough to love him, So, it's a process, though. It's a process.
It is a process. I mean, how do people, one of the biggest, I think, spiritual questions that dove me into spirituality is, how do I love myself? It would seem like such a bizarre, abstract question. I'm like, am I supposed to hug myself? Am I supposed to look in the mirror and go, I love you, Jenny?
Yeah.
I couldn't really understand the concept. Where did you find self-love? Well, if you would explain it.
Yeah, my A couple different places. My vocal coach in LA, Dot Todman, she actually had me. She's like, Chrissy, I want you to sing in the mirror naked. I'm like, the hell? You want me to what? Okay. And it's just like accepting, like you're not your body. It's the vessel that your spirit occupies. And also like just being comfortable in your own skin. We're so not that way. And then also knowing that, I'm not all that I am is my body, right? And so also esteemable acts create self-esteem. So when I can be kind and being of service and be, when I'm loving, then that creates that true confidence within yourself. And you're like, none of this matters. It's just who I am and how I treat people. That's all that matters.
That sentence. What did you say? Esteemable what?
Esteemable acts create self-esteem.
That's such an Oprah light bulb moment line.
Yeah.
It's
I don't
really
even
good.
know where and how it came from where, but it's just, when you can be of service and you create that true inner confidence because you're like, no matter what cars in my driveway, the number on my bank account or on the scale, I know that I'm a good person because I treat people kindly and come from love.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I know when I do things for myself, I realize quitting smoking. I went, you know what? That's a form of self-love.
Self-care. Yes, absolutely.
100%.
And it's finding out why was I smoking? Why did I overeat? What's really going on? We don't want to answer those questions a lot of the times. Hard.
Our ego, what people don't realize, and you'll appreciate this because you're woke as fuck, is that our ego does such a good job distracting us.
Oh yeah, every way and shape and form it can.
It will be like, go to Facebook now, check Instagram.
Yeah.
Go to Twitter. Yeah. Instead of asking yourself what's wrong.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Distraction. You don't need to think about it or talk about it. Or,
Squirrel.
Yeah.
Squirrel.
Absolutely, and it's always forcing yourself.
And I think it's panic attacks, like you said, or something to bring us to our knees to finally ask that question.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, what's really going on?
Did you stop having panic attacks?
I did. I have I get anxious, but it's more about excitement. But I meditate. I try to just sort of decompress, and that helped me a lot. But I do think that, doing something that you love and feeling like you're being of service and that you're giving back, it calms you in a way that, it's hard to explain. And I never wanted to medicate. I was like, no, I don't want to do all that. So I took the hard road, and it took longer than probably, well, who's to say, but
right. I call that the highway. I think some people take the side streets. Mm-hmm. You're in your 30s. People are in their 60s by the time sometimes they get there.
Yeah. And I get anxious, but I think I can try to channel that into excitement. But luckily, no panic and serious anxiety attacks.
So happy for you.
Oh, thank you.
You're the ultimate definition of love and spiritual ascension and awake. I love it.
That's
I love
all I want to be.
People.
Thank you so much.
I ain't done with you yet. The book is called This Is Me, Loving the Person You Are Today. You guys have to pick this up. I have to ask you about, of course, the show. Mm-hmm. Did you get emotional watching Jack's death episode?
First of all, when Dan sent me the script, he's like, Chrissy, I'm texting you personally because I know that you're not going to be able to handle this. I'm like, Dan, you know me too well.
Oh, no.
He's like, should I come over? Do you need help? Does somebody need to sit with you while you read the episode? And I'm like, maybe. And so I did. I cried from the first page to the last page. And then, of course, seeing it, we got to pre-screen at his house. And it was just... It was just everything all at once, and you think he's going to survive, and it's not the fire. And then, and then you feel for Kate and feel, she has so much shame and she's just feels so guilty. And, Mandy's performance and seeing him, in the bed and just her turning around and getting a bite to eat, but then realizing her husband is gone forever. Life can change that quickly, and it's just layers upon layers of just
that's
emotion.
Why the show, I think, is such a success. It's so relatable to everyone's pain. Everyone can find something in there that matches an experience they had.
Yes.
How much of your character would you say you find your own life in?
Oh, I definitely have felt like, when I was working in the business behind the desk, that I was like the second fiddle and living in the shadow and not really believing in myself and not really coming into my own, as much as Kate did with Kevin, and never feeling like she was going to be lovable, but finally kind of putting herself first and growing through the pain and getting over it. So in that, I had a lot of that process, but it's interesting because people always say, like, how are you and that character, how are you so close to Jack? And it's really about the lack of relationship that I didn't have with a father figure in my life that I sort of crave. And so I come at it from that perspective, as opposed to like, oh, this is, this most beautiful relationship, but I just never had it. And so
that's fascinating.
Yeah, that's where that pain comes.
So you're kind of fulfilling that part of you through the show.
In a way. And, Milo is an angel baby from the heavens. And just that guy who's like the captain of the ship and gives you his handkerchief if you're crying or snotting or whatever. And so it's really lovely.
That is so nice. You're so lucky to be part of such a great show.
Beyond
great messaging.
Beyond lucky.
What do you miss now that you're famous? If you took away the fame, of course you miss, being able to go to a restaurant without being recognized. Mm-hmm. But is there something else that you kind of miss?
I really miss, I'm very busy, gratefully busy, but very busy, and I just like to chill with my friends. I wish I could chill with them a little more often and not,
I get that, girl.
Yeah,
I get it.
Just a chill.
We had a self-help expert come in, and I said, what is like one of the great things we can do if we're burnt out? And she said, you have to have your girl posse and go out.
Yeah.
It literally releases endorphins. You have, just talking about little dumb gossiping shit that you guys giggle about. It's
boys
everything.
And relationships. Yeah. All that cute stuff. So I think I just miss hanging out with my girls, with my friends. Yeah.
What do you guys like to do?
Honestly, I don't want to go anywhere. I don't want to put a bra on. I don't want to do nothing. Like, let's just veg out on the couch, play some little cute games, or, watch a movie.
It's true, because you don't want to get in hair and makeup.
No.
You don't want to be recognized on a day off.
No.
And you just want to giggle with your friends. We used to play charades for years.
Oh my gosh. Did you ever play Celebrity? It's like charades, but so like there's 3 rounds it's really cool. Like you can use all unlimited words the first round, and then you put the names back in the bucket. You can only use 2 words, and then the third round you put the names back in the bucket, and then you can only do like charades, only physical.
Oh,
it's
that's
really
so fucking
fun.
cool.
Yeah, it's so fun.
Now, this is just a made-up game, right?
Yeah, I don't know. Some actor friends. I'm like, is this an improv game or is it like for game night? Well, either one. But yeah, so it's really, really fun. Yeah.
I probably would mispronounce every single celebrity.
Nah.
Chrissy, I could talk to you forever. I'm so happy for you and so excited. The book is called This Is Me, Loving the Person You Are Today. It's a book out right now. Go pick it up. Please come back anytime.
Oh, I would love to.
I love your story. I love you. I love your ascension. Keep it up and come back.
Thank you.
Keep us
love
updated.
You too. Thank you so much.
Congratulations, girl.
Thank you. Bye.
I'll be right back. Bye, sweetheart.
Jenny McCarthy Show. Oh!